All right, today we're doing another supporting local video. I'm super excited. We have Kristen Whitlow with us, and we are in, you saw it right here, Graphite Glitter. We're in her very own workshop. Super cool. We're going to talk about fat paint, how easy it is to use. Stay tuned for my own personal demo. I'm excited about that. I'm excited to share that with you. Now we've got a few little things like these chairs. We're going to talk about memories and what it means, and really putting together old kind of things that mean something instead of using cheap and throwing away. And we have so much information coming at you, so sit back and enjoy.
I'm going to be demonstrating how easy it is to paint. Go nuts.
All right.
So basically what you're going to do is just dip your brush in. Let me show you. So you don't need to dip it in really far. You can just dip it in about like half inch, an inch, and then you're just going to brush it on. When you're brushing, generally you're going to try to stay the direction of the grain if you're doing a piece of wood, so you're going to try to go with the grain.
Okay.
Not a super huge deal. It's pretty user-friendly and pretty forgiving for people who haven't painted. So you can dip your brush in the paint and you can just brush it on the molding.
So what should I do? Just brush right here?
Yeah, sure.
All right. I like that. You know what? I took a couple art classes, or we have some friends that are artists, and they're like, we go and make something, whatever it is, cards, and they're like, well, just go and do it. I like how artists don't really care. There's no proper way to do it.
No, I get that all the time in a class. I'm like, yeah, sure, let's try it. And they're like, right now? Yeah, of course. We're in the creative mode. Let's do it right now. Let's figure it out. So yeah, you can just go however you need to.
One of my least favorite jobs when I was growing up in, construction and having the labor jobs was painting.
Me too. I hated it.
Really?
Yeah.
And then I could see like this is, it's a bit gratifying.
Yeah.
'Cause I mean,
and it covers really well too, which is nice.
Yeah, this little piece is starting to look cool, and I'm not even putting much effort in.
You can take it home if you need to.
This one piece. What am I going to do with it?
I have no idea.
Is this connected to something else?
No. I
No?
have lots of...
Just pieces?
Yeah.
So you don't know what you're going to do with this?
No. No idea.
We can make a cool sculpture out of it.
Yeah. And that I would love to do in car stairs. Because
Structure?
there's so many people that are so capable and to do more art installations in town. And I know it costs money, and I know that it's like, oh, like even putting the mural in front of the arena, some people were like, oh man, that's a lot of money, but also it's amazing. And it adds character to our town. It's pretty cool. So yeah, I'd like to get more stuff like that happening somehow. I'd love to learn how to weld and sometime.
Just got to keep spreading the word and letting people know what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty neat. So
All right.
yeah, look at that. You're a pro. Pretty
It
easy.
was the paint, right? I didn't even do much. That's pretty cool. Like that's what you were demonstrating, like how
Yeah.
easy it is just to do
It's
something
easy.
like that.
It covers really well. It's not something that you have to put a lot of elbow grease into or really thought into. And if you don't like it, it's pretty easy to paint over top of.
To go over that.
Not necessarily, no. So you could distress that now. You could wax over top. You could do glaze. There's so many different faux finishes, antiquing, lots of stuff.
Cool. So tell us a bit about why you got into doing this, and why it's important to you. I think most people they do something and set something up. They're passionate about it for some reason. Is there anything in particular that kind of stands out to you why you began and started this?
I was a kid that had like things set up in my room all the time from when I was little. Like I would have my mom's fabric draped over my boxes in my room or whatever, and I was always into decorating. Loved art. I have art in my family. All my aunts are artists and stuff on my dad's side. So I just loved painting, loved pastels, anything about it. And I like what it does to people. So I like how people just stand there and wow, that's cool, and just kind of takes them away. And so I got into doing multiple art projects, and then I kind of got into doing more decor and stuff like that because it was just people asked me for it. And then I ended up opening the artisan market in town here with a couple other people. And I didn't have time to create, so, and I'm an artist, so it was kind of hard. I was like, oh shoot, what am I going to do? But that's what I really love to do. So I ended up selling the market. And now I just work out of my studio, which is my garage. I do have an art studio upstairs. And yeah, now I just do what I love to do.
So tell me a bit about supporting local and how that's important, I suppose. Do you ship online or anything like that?
Not at this point, I don't. I really like to just kind of word of mouth. Like, people just drop their stuff off and tell a friend. And
So that local support would be that much more important if if you're not doing a bunch of online stuff. You know, those people that are spreading word of mouth, it's that much more important too.
it's huge, yeah. So it really matters. Like, when I went to hair school, that's another story. Anyways, one of the things that we learned in business was that word of mouth is the greatest form of advertising. And so you have a good product and you have good customer service and good reputation, and people will support you. And it definitely is a big deal for people to shop local, think local, support local, because it's a family. Like, we're a family. We're in my garage, and this is what keeps our house. Like, it's just what we do. So yeah, it's a pretty big deal to support local. And even through the market, there was so many people that I met. They were just like, I've always wanted to do this, but I didn't have an outlet. Making something and selling what you've made is a piece of you.
Right.
And so you're in a very vulnerable spot. And so you're kind of just putting yourself out there and going, hey world, what do you think? And so when they buy your stuff for the first time and you're just like, oh my goodness, that's amazing. That took me forever, and I'm so glad they liked it. And
Yeah.
so, and it's amazing too when someone really, really likes something, and then it brings out stories like you wouldn't believe. Like, that was something really cool. Every day someone would walk into the market and they would just like, oh, this reminds me of this and this and this, and they would stay there for hours and tell you stuff, and it was just the coolest thing ever. So yeah, that's why I still love doing it, because it just brings out something in someone, like memories and stuff like that. So
When your customers, they bring in different types, like we've got an old school chair here, this table. I mean, it's been around forever. They don't make those anymore. Do they come in with stories and tell you about, why they want it refurbished and they want it to be fancied up a little bit?
yeah, it's neat because a lot of people really hang on to things because they remember seeing them in their grandma's house or whatever, and they don't know what to do with them now. So it's a bit of a tough spot sometimes, because you don't want to just have stuff and hang on to it, but it's meaningful. And so how can you repurpose it in a way that still gives meaning and fits into your life currently? So the stories that come out are really cool. People just flash back to when they were little, and I like history, so it's meaningful to me. I have lots of my grandma's stuff in my house that's been repurposed. I have all of my grandma's art supplies and everything. So yeah, it's pretty neat. It's neat to be using my mom's sewing machine and stuff like that. Yeah.
It'd be cool. It must be a great feeling to have like this old stuff that a lot of people would throw away, and they have so many memories and so much meaning, and you get a chance to give them new life and then put them in homes for another 100 years. I don't know how old that is.
I know. I actually don't know how old it is. It was just dropped off. So yeah, it's really neat. Like, it's something I'd kind of like to maybe do more of, is keep a little history of each piece along with the picture. Like, I've had some really neat pieces that were custom made for couples for their wedding in the 50s or whatever. And it's like, oh, that is the coolest thing ever. So knowing a bit of the story about it also gives it more meaning. It's not just another thing in your life or another piece of whatever in the corner.
Right.
Yeah, it's purposeful.
Yeah, I think it's so cool. Like those memories and that purpose you're talking about. We don't have that stuff anymore. We buy cheap plastic things. They break. We throw it away. Get a new one. Like, instead of doing that, like, we have the opportunity to, bring it here. Here, fix this up instead of throwing it away, because it just got passed down through a few generations. We don't want to get rid of it. So now we have the opportunity to maybe fix it up a little bit and still use it.
Yeah, and it makes things more unique too. it's not just everybody has the same piece from IKEA or whatever. It's just you have this piece, you can pick the color, you can actually pick a few pieces and we'll put them together for you to make something completely different. So it is having something unique to you in your house that you had a word in or designed yourself. So that's kind of neat too.
Do you have a favorite piece? That's a difficult question. I think anytime we make something new and original, that we all feel like it's all like part of us. Is there anything that sticks out in your mind that you can recall?
Actually, probably one of my favorite pieces that I don't know if I'll let go of is this table right here. And so this was just drawn on and then finger painted with stain over top, and this is a succulent. And because I worked at the local flower shop, I have a little thing for succulents, and so adding a little bit of me into everything that I do definitely makes it more meaningful.
How did you get that? Did you draw that flower on there?
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, just drew it on and then just kind of shaded it in with some stain and a rag, and yeah, clear coated it.
So that's one of your favorite pieces?
Yeah, that's one of them. I like things that are a bit more unique and have a bit more art to them, like an actual painting on it or something like that. Because that's where I got started, was with painting and pastels and sketching and stuff like that. So there's a few different ways that you could finish a project. This chair has one coat on it, and I would probably put another coat on it, so it depends on the color that you choose. Anything that has a really clear base to it, like a red or a blue or a yellow, a really primary color, is going to take more coats because it's just a really clear base to get that brilliant pigment color. So, or a white. A white is harder to cover with. So this covered very well, but I would still put another coat on it, and 2 coats is recommended. A lot of things I do, I find I can get away with 1 coat. So what we're gonna do on this piece is just show you how you might distress it. So
What is distressing?
distressing is making it look old. So like some pieces in here have some pretty natural distressing on them. But if your piece is really in tough shape and you want to kind of give it a new life, you can paint it and you can give it that aged look by distressing. And you just want to keep in mind that when you distress, you do it in the natural places that will wear and tear. So like corners, edges, around hardware, things like that, that'll get bumped and that kind of thing. So this is waterproof sandpaper, which is kind of fun. And you can actually just go on the piece like that. And you just need to grab a rag.
So we're actually trying to make this look older.
Yeah.
It's almost like the opposite of everything that we do in society. It's trying to make it look younger.
Yeah, it's true. So I'll just grab a rag here. And then when you're wet distressing, you want to wipe often with your rag, because you'd be surprised how much it will take off. So you can go along the edge. And I just grabbed a rag here, so I would probably go with a lighter colored rag. But there you can see you have some wear and tear on the edge there. And then you would just seal it with a top coat or a wax, and then you're good to go. That's it. So if you want to try it, you're more than welcome to.
Let's do it.
It's really easy.
Is there anywhere in particular?
So when you're sitting on a chair, you just keep in mind of like where would your legs be hitting the chair, or your back or something like that, and that's where you get normal wear and tear on it.
All right.
So those are the places that you would sand.
So it doesn't really matter where.
Not really, no.
And is that,
And then you can just wipe it off as you go.
and what is this? Okay. So you wouldn't put another coat on top of this.
No, I would put another coat on and then I would distress the whole thing. But this one is just, you can just paint right over top of it, so it's a good example. And you can do multiple colors and sand back to the colors underneath. You can distress with like tools. You can use like hammers and chains and all kinds of things to distress with. So it's kind of neat.
And why do people like this distressed look? Just
I don't know.
Worn.
I think it's just like this shabby chic thing that started, and lots of people like it, and so they started doing
Tell me
it.
about customer service and why that's important to you.
I guess I've had a lot of customer service jobs, and I really do know what it's like to have an experience in a store where you have good customer service and it makes you want to go back. And there's so many things that are such a big part of it, and it's like being welcomed when you walk in the door, being greeted, being acknowledged, and can I help you with anything? If I don't know the answer, I will find out the answer for you. Having a clean store, all things like that really make a big difference to me. And if you pay attention to feedback from people, it also makes a big difference to them.
If there was a way we could support you, what would that be? We'd bring you a piece of furniture. What are the things that we could do as a community to help support a small local business?
Yeah, I think if you know somebody that is looking to have something done, spread the word. Like, we are here to help people. We're here to make something custom, make it your own. There's so many things that people appreciate, and we've even found in classes that we teach here in town. If you can make something customized for someone, they love that. Like, if they can put their name on it or a phrase or anything like that, people love that, and they don't necessarily care how much they spend on it, which is really funny because it's their own. But we still go to these big crazy stores and get the same thing that every other person has.
Yeah, I think we're not all perfect. Like, we all
No.
go and we can all get better, but I think if we paid attention to just a little more about how we can support local, what are the things that we can do to support our friends and neighbors and family that need our support. And if we do one little thing a day, if it's one Christmas, one birthday, that's going to make a difference for everyone.
How do you spell true?
Dear.
Oh, it happened. Like this tiny. Ah, it didn't fit. You need a shorter name.
There.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do with that?
I have
You don't
no
know yet?
idea. No, what should I do with it?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
That's your department. I ask the questions.
I know.
You do the art.